If 2018 was the year of the notch, 2019 is claimed to be the year of the folding phone. Now, I saw the benefit of notch screens. You get to use the little ears either side of the central notch for extra content. Great. And I had no issues with the iPhone XS Max and Pixel 3 XL, for example, both of which I used for a month. And in theory, I can see the benefit of folding screens. I mean, the sheer geek value in taking a phone and unfolding it horizontally has appealed to most of us through the smartphone years. The old Nokia communicators here whetted the appetite. 2 screens and a full QWERTY keyboard. 1 screen, 2 screen and QWERTY. There were outrageous designs like my old Nokia N93, which folds in about 4 different ways. Also with 2 screens, but with T9 keypad and centered around a super barrel camera for its day, 2006-ish. Then more recently we had the Android running Gemini PDA, just the 1 screen, but a true clamshell design. And finally the ZTE Axon M, at least in the USA, so I haven't touched one. An attempt at 2 separate external screens coming together to form a mini tablet. It gained universally poor reviews though, with the hinge gap proving a barrier to tablet use, with worries over damage to both screens in day-to-day use, and with many other software issues in the unusual form factor. And off to one side we've had Microsoft Andromeda patents, with the Surface Mobile apparently canned in 2018 at the last minute, but that appeared to show a full 360-degree hinge and near gapless join, thanks to clever curved edges and optics. So there's momentum for a phone design that can double unit as a tablet for when you need more real estate, which is why Samsung, LG, Motorola and even Apple all have designs in the works. Samsung is probably closest to production with its rumoured Galaxy F or X, depending on who you believe, with form factor something like this, excuse the cardboard and paper mock-up, but you get the idea. A small external screen for taking calls and looking up quick things, plus a folding 8.5-inch AMOLED panel inside. There's rumoured to be a battery in each half of the phone, as it were, so both halves would have the same thickness. And from playing with the cardboard mock-up here, the concept's, well, certainly appealing. A phone-sized phone much of the time, then a relatively large square display when you need it. So web browsing, social media, gaming, watching media, and so on. However, physics isn't on the side of folding phones in terms of longevity. The communicator just mentioned gets away with it by using a ribbon cable. Now these are pretty hard wearing and designed for millions of flexes over their lifetime. Think of the internals of a printer. And it's possible that Samsung has gone down the Axon M route of having 2 screens connected by a ribbon cable and with some clever Andromeda-like optics to disguise the join. But it's more likely they've gone with a true foldable display, in which case I do worry about the stresses and strains of a repeated opening and closing, with the central axis experiencing massive torsion. How can something this high-tech also be highly durable? Now my cardboard and paper mock-up is of course crinkling after just a few folds, plus the external fold or hinge will fail after about 20 or 30 opening and closing actions. Hey, it's just cardboard. But a foldable display in a foldable phone, we're not talking of materials a million times stronger than cardboard and paper. I think we're merely at a factor of 100 or 1,000. And my prediction is that such a foldable design from Samsung, LG or whoever will appear, it will be priced at north of £1,000, will get decent initial reviews and will start to see display failures after 6 months and plenty of warranty replacements, and then disappointed users with displays failing just after the warranty is over. But would all the pain be worth it if a company pulls this off? You do get a larger screen than on existing monoblock flagships by 8 or 9 inches diagonal compared to typically 6 inches 18 by 9 on the Note 9 filming this, for example. Around 80% more screen real estate. Great for web browsing, not so great for media watching, so Netflix, YouTube, etc. Since all videos will be heavily letterboxed and video images will actually be smaller than on a current smartphone. Then you have the case issue for a folding smartphone, already thicker than current design, so I'm guessing just over 1 centimetre thick in all. You have to have a folding case to protect your super expensive high-tech investment. This will wrap around and also folds. You'd end up with a cased folding phone that's almost 2 centimetres thick, which is about as thick as this 2005 Nokia 9500 and almost as thick as this Nokia N93 from over a decade ago, and also much, much wider in the hand. Ouch. I contend then from the perspective of a physicist and engineer that the pain points of moving from a simple monoblock to a complex, hinged folding display, potentially less durable design, are not outweighed by the benefits. Now I could be wrong, but I'm often not. Remember that I lived through the days of the folding Cyan palm tops, 1990s, the folding Nokia communicators, early 2000s, QWERTY sliders, and I've got a pretty good handle on which designs will last the distance. Your comments welcome. We'll come back to this on the Phone Show Chat podcast. Huawei's seemingly annual P-Smart release brings a specs bump for 2019. I have to say up front, this isn't really for phone enthusiasts. So if you're watching this review, then consider this for your teenager or your parents. Which isn't to say it's not got game in the specs department. It's a capable Android phone that won't struggle with any 2019 apps or games. A Kirin 7-ton chipset, 3GB of RAM, 64GB storage plus micro SD, hooked up to a nicely teardropped 6.2-inch LCD 1080p display. They all look fine, even if the phone runs EMUI 9, which has its own quirks, though eminently usable these days, thankfully. There's a welcome 3.5mm jack and a rear fingerprint sensor. However, the devil's in the detail, as it were. The P-Smart 2019 comes in at just over £200, and something has to give to reach that price point. In terms of specs, the 13-megapixel camera is generic by 2019 standards, though does have a depth sensor supplementary for those apparently all-important portrait effects. And perhaps not surprisingly, given Huawei's extensive experience with multi-subject, multi-aperture software effects, AI, night mode and so on, it performs above expectations. See the samples here. I couldn't catch it out, for static subjects at least. Nice. Among the cost-cutting measures all round are a sizable bottom bezel, though housing a notification LED, which is a nice touch, a lack of waterproofing and a single rather solitary and very, very tinny loudspeaker. Here's a demo, full volume. Sounds like it's from the 1970s, but understandable at £200 maybe. However, the one thing I cannot forgive, at least for Western markets, is the use of micro USB for charging and data in 2019. If this had been an India or Asia or South America release, whatever, then fair enough. There are millions of legacy chargers in those markets, but Western markets are increasingly geared for Type-C. Maybe not exclusively so yet, but a phone is intended to still be in use in 2 or 3 years. A micro USB in 2022 is going to look like an antique standard indeed. A 3400 mAh battery performed very well here, albeit mainly because the phone is so unexciting for someone like me that I couldn't bear myself to use it with my main SIM card, so it didn't get a lot of use. I'm sorry, Huawei. But look past the micro USB caveat, there is quite a bit of smartphone here for a genuinely budget price. This will be sub £200 soon if it's not already, and then it's in the right region for handing on to little Johnny or Kylie for their social and gaming activities. While the plastic build, allied to a good case, yes, shame there wasn't one in the box, should keep them crack-free, even with the typical teenager drops. The Huawei P-Smart 2019.